Episode number 126 of Making a Case Why Women Want Babies, but Not Husbands. Let's get it. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Making a Case. Of course, I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We're on episode number 126, and today we're talking about why women want husbands, or excuse me, why women want babies and not husbands. Okay. Now, before we move into further, we got two channel norms over here. One, we attack points and not people. And two, we don't do all that cussing and derogatory stuff. We're professional over here. Okay. Now, I want to begin off with a couple of things. One, I want to tell a little story, right? Okay. As those of you who follow me and maybe even know me personally or what have you, right? Know that, I've been a teacher for over a decade, right? I've been working with kids for over 2 decades, right? Kids, adults, young kids, right? So I've been working with people for a very long time. I remember having a conversation with a group of middle schoolers at one time, and I just asked them. I was like, how many of you, want to be married one day? Very little hands went up, right? Particularly the little girls, right? And so, I probed a little bit. I was like, why y'all don't want to get married, And they started giving me a whole bunch of reasons, right? I can't remember all of them. It was a few years ago. But I said, but how many of y'all want babies? And more hands went up versus the ones that want to get married. And most of the hands that went up, you guessed it, were the females. So they're planning on having babies, but they're not planning on getting married, right? These are 12 and 13-year-old young girls. So this has to be something that has been programmed in them, or it's something that they're witnessing. They're witnessing their mothers, aunties, cousins, and stuff not being married, but having babies. Because the biological drive is there for them to have children, but not so when it comes to marriage. Marriage is more of a social construction. But when you don't see it in your social diameter, right, then how would it be something that you crave if you don't see it? Now, they may see it on Disney. They may see it on movies and stuff like that. But do they see it enough to the extent where they really want it? They can see the benefits of not being married, right? And I'm talking about young women or women in general, right? They can see the benefits of having a baby. Maybe subconscious, maybe they don't even know that you can get assistance and all this other stuff. You're going to get support from family. You're going to get baby showers and gifts and all type of stuff, whether you have a man in the picture or not, right? This is the reality that we're dealing with. And I don't think we understand how much it has impacted society. Just having kids out of wedlock and not building families, right? Because families build culture, right? Cultures build society, right? It's steps and levels to this. So I want to go over this episode today to show you just how impactful that this is on our young people, and of course on our young women that's in college and working, and they thinking about career, and they not thinking nothing about family. Okay, so without further ado, I got a couple of videos that I want to share to you to illustrate my point. And we're just gonna get straight into it if that's okay with you. All right, let's get it.
Has a baby problem. Specifically, young adults aren't making enough of them. Yeah, so let's get to it, people. Of course, that's easy for us to say. Babies, though, are really expensive, and focusing on your career is important. People have different priorities, but still, experts say America's birth rate is a critical issue. Not everybody wants to have kids. But the New York Times even did an article about it last week, highlighting pitches that allegedly are being made to the Trump administration about ways to encourage women to have children. Ideas include payments to cover the cost of giving birth, classes on fertility, even scholarships for married couples having kids. if it keeps getting worse, America might be headed in the direction of Japan. On Sunday's 60 Minutes, John Wertheim showed how Japanese businesses are now catering to the massive single population, including karaoke for one, stag-only bars, and solo weddings.
What's that?
Remember that episode of Sex and the City? Basically, Carrie threw a wedding for herself, or she had a wedding party. Yeah. Anyway, it was so bad that the Japanese government had to step in.
To foster human relationships, the Tokyo government has taken action. Yuriko Koike is the city's governor.
We are promoting for matchmaking by artificial intelligence.
The Tokyo government is playing omiye, playing matchmaker.
That's right.
Yes, the Japanese capital city has launched its own dating app.
So why are we suddenly so preoccupied with having babies, as if our parents are putting enough pressure on us? My grandmother, in my case, she's like, the bus is going to leave you.
So as you can see, Tokyo is actually, their government is actually initiated because people are not having enough babies. Of course, here in America, we have a same problem, but our problem is not dating apps, right? Our problem is not dating. Our problem is not having sex. Our issue is feminism. Our issue is untraditional, unwed mothers having babies out of wedlock. Our issue is the A word, if you know what I'm talking about. Deleting babies. So we have other issues that Japan is not dealing with, but as you can see, other countries are dealing with issues when it comes to people not getting together, not getting married, and have babies. Now, our issue, I believe, is yes, we're not having enough babies, but the babies that we are having, unfortunately, are to unwedded mothers. Okay, so let's look at the stats real quick. All right, so let's look at a little stats on out of wedlock births. Okay, so it says since 1970, out of wedlock birth rates have soared. In 1965, 24% of black infants and 3.1% of white infants were born to single mothers. By 1990, the rates had risen to 64% for black infants and 18% for whites. Look at that jump. Every year, about 1 million more children are born to fatherless families. If we had learned any positive lesson well over the past 25 years, that for children living in single parent homes, the odds of living in poverty are great. The positive implications of the increase in out of wedlock births are staggering. This should be America's number one problem. How do we bring family back? How do we make families a norm again? This is our number one issue, but we don't talk about it. Okay, let me read you something else. Let me scroll down. And it's sad that we don't talk about it. Let's see. That's not, it was something I wanted to read to you guys. Before the 1970, unmarried mothers kept few of their babies. Today, they put only a few up for adoption because the stigma of unwed motherhood has declined. And that was another issue, right? See, women didn't want to raise kids on their own. Well, one, because they knew they was going to struggle, and a lot of women wasn't in the workforce like that. But two, that it was the social stigma of it, right? Today, it's not. The transformation in attitude was captured by the New York Times in 1993. In the old days of the 60s, 50s, and 40s, pregnant teenagers were pariah, banished from school, ostracized by their peers, and scurried out of town to give birth in secret. Today, they are supported and embracing their decision to give birth, keep their babies, continue their education, and participate in school activities, since out of wedlock childbearing no longer results in social ostracism. Literally and figuratively, shotgun marriage no longer occurs at this point of the shotgun. Right. And I just wanted to read that to you because I just wanted you to see how times have changed. Right. No longer do people care about the social ramifications. No longer do people care about raising a kid on their own. No longer do people care about whether or not the child has a mother and father, or whether or not the child actually grew up in the most conducive environment for their success. We don't care all about that. Right. Women care about having babies because of their reproductive years, right, are closing in, or they either pushing back that time because they're chasing careers. So really, they're either on the spectrum of I don't care about babies right now. I want to get to this money, or I want babies, but I'm not necessarily caring about having a husband or care about working with a man. I don't really care about that. And the real reason behind that is the fact that, well, women don't want to submit to men, right? Women want to make their own decisions when it comes to the kid. They feel like that being under a man's thumb, quote unquote, is not what they want to do. So they want to make all of the parental decisions, and they want to live a quote unquote freer life. Okay. So those are the real reason why women really don't want to submit to men or really care about having a husband, because a lot of women unfortunately see marriage as, well, it can be a trap, or they can feel like that, it's something where they can't be themselves, they can't be free, which to me is far from the truth. I would say that I'm not necessarily 100% advocate for marriage because of what it does to men, but I will say if you plan on having a child, marriage should be for you. Point blank, period. All right. If you're not planning on having kids, then I'm not a big supporter of marriage. I'm not a big supporter in marriage in your older years when you didn't raise your kids. I just don't see the purpose of it, but that's me. Okay. But we're going to end this episode, man. Hopefully, you got a new perspective on, well, why women are choosing to have babies and not husbands. Okay. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments. Like, share the video, all that good stuff. If you got any topics you want me to address, please let me know in my comment section. All right. But as always, I'm you, you're me. Love always, love eternal. Remember, worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. Hey, we out. Deuces. One love.